We know that everywhere we go, all around us, whether we're at our chiropractor's office, or at our dentist, or at the grocery store, or at Walmart, especially at Walmart, there are people that are hurting and troubled and don't know what to do next. They don't know what to do next. They're stuck. People, good people, educated people that don't know what to do. Students who are like, I hate life. I hate living. My wife and I really got blessed Friday night. We got to go watch a movie. We went down to Palm Beach, because it was the only place that was showing this movie. It came and it went really fast, because really quality movies do. Our culture doesn't really like great movies all that much. They come and they go to small screen quickly. I mean, quality. This movie was only a PG movie, so they showed cartoons as previews, like we were 12-year-olds or 10-year-olds sitting out there. And this was a quality, powerful movie. It was called Lion. And the movie was about a little boy, and it's a true story. In fact, it's as true to what actually happened as could possibly be, because the young man is still, I guess he's in his 40s today, but he walked the creator of the movies and the screenplays and all that. He formed it to exactly what happened to the best of his memory. And when he was, I want you to watch the movie. We're actually, as soon as it comes out on DVD, we're going to show it here. I got a big screen we're going to put up here. We're going to have a movie night. It is so powerful. It's a movie that left me. My wife was sobbing through about 2/3 of it. She was, and I was trying not to, because grown men shouldn't do that in movies. I mean, we can cry, but not in movies. Come on. And it left me, when the movie was over, I walked out just thinking, am I doing anything that matters? You're the pastor of a church. Yeah, but we're a bunch of, normal people. We're just, we're all pretty good. Aren't we, Rob? We're all in a good place. We're all happy. And the truth is, a few of us are. But the vast majority of people walking around you and sitting beside you have struggles and troubles and anger and hurt and angst and worry and fears that you couldn't imagine. You couldn't imagine. And how are they going to fix them? And what are they going to do about them? And what can we do about them? And can we help you? I promise you this, and some of you will say this is not a problem to go, it's not a stretch. I used to think I had mental conditions. I thought I had an issue. It's not funny. You do have an issue. But I had problems. I had things that I did that I knew were wrong. They were weird. I had weird issues. And I don't know if I've ever said this, but it's worth saying. Something was messed up in my head, and I thought that if I walked into a store, I thought I had to retrace my steps back out of the store. Like if I walked down, I had to go find... That's some kind of excessive compulsive disorder, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of people... Yes. When I was a little kid, I did things, I had to do them twice. Is it just me? Can I get a yeah? I had to do them twice, and sometimes more than twice. My wife's thinking, okay, you should have told me that when we were dating. I found myself one day, and it took Christ in me to pull me out of these strange things. One day I walked into a store, like a Walmart type thing, and I remember going, I don't need to trace my steps. Number one, it takes a long time. Number two, it's a problem. What's wrong with you? We all have issues. That's what I want to say. Some of you think you're alone in your issues. You think you're alone in your issues, but you're not. We all have issues. We all wonder about ourselves. We come to church, When I was a kid, my parents dragged me to church. They didn't drag me, because that would have been a bad scene. My dad just said, get up, and that's all it took, because if I didn't get up, then I would be dragged, which is not good. This was back in the 70s when you still spank your children and not get arrested. It was amazing times. And if I didn't get up out of bed and get dressed as quickly as possible, I was going to confront hardship. I was going to confront hardship that I brought on myself because I knew what my father would do. He would look at me like, "Are you still dreaming? Do you not know who I am?" And we had an understanding, my father and I. If he said, "Do this," I did it. And if I got a look in my eye, like I was like, roll my eyes or anything, I met with even further hardship. If I looked like I was like not enjoying the moment, I learned how to go, "Okay, Dad." But if I went, "Yeah, whatever," it just never happened because I was going to meet my dad's discipline. And I used to think I got beaten. I would tell people, "My dad beat me today." He spanked me with a belt very hard. But I was also very hard-headed. And the truth is this. There is a deception. There is a deception and a cloud and a darkness over our culture and over our students and over our college students and even over us, especially over us, that tells us stuff that's not true. We're having a difficult time. Life is hard, and it's not hard at all. Really, watch this movie and put yourself for a little while. Decide for 30 days you're going to watch movies or read books about people who had real hardship. You know what I mean? Like they really had hardship. Read the movie of Corrie ten Boom. Read The Hiding Place. Read Helen Keller. Read people that had real hardship and real challenges. And they didn't sit back and go, "I don't want to because I don't feel like it," because somebody would have just walked away from them and left them in their puddle. Nobody babied them. Nobody was there to say, "Oh, come on," or "You've got to." They were alone. And you know what happens when somebody's alone in this world? They look up and say, "If I don't do it, it ain't going to get done. If I don't rise up, I'll stay down." We are the most spoiled culture, people, teenagers, adults on the face of the earth that have ever existed. We live better than kings ever thought about living. Do you know what I'm saying? Can I get an amen or or yes? We do. Kings would have dreamed of having these things called cell phones that we can talk to people, and if you distract us, we go, "I'm on my cell phone." And kings would have dreamed of having this stuff. Televisions where we see entertainment, it's in front of us, and all of the things that we can do. And if we really have a headache, we don't have to take morphine or cocaine. We can take Tylenol, and it really does help. Excedrin migraine does wonders if you have a headache. My wife is addicted to that stuff. Just kidding, honey. And I'm addicted. I have more fun and more pleasure and more taste experiences than kings of old or kings of recent. My latest fetish is Bluebell Mocha Java chip ice cream with almonds. And it's awesome. But it's not quite perfect because I have to add milk and chocolate syrup to get it there. We're a culture that we're just given all the stuff we could ever dream or imagine or want, and we still don't have enough. We're not satisfied. We're spoiled brats is what we are. I'm just lit up today. As I walked out of that movie theater, I thought, God, we're so spoiled. We're so blind. I really do believe, and on the way home, my wife and I were driving home from Palm Beach, and I thought, I don't want to go home and watch another show to distract me from what I just saw. Because what we do is we see something and we read something and it's profoundly moving, but then we cover it up with another fun, stupid sitcom, right? Or the next thing, or I got to do this series. And it's like, God, how can he get through to us? Because we're so medicated with entertainment and pleasure and fun and distractions, and we still complain. We still complain. We don't know hardship. We don't know hardship. Now, some of you do. Man, you are one of the few encouragements I had to keep going to that jail. Because everybody I visited there reoffended and went right back. I would go for an entire year visiting somebody every single week, praying for them and caring about them. My heart would go out to them and pray with them, and they would pray, and it's all good, and they would get out. A week later, it was like I never existed. They never showed up to church. They never called me. They never, nothing. And I got so discouraged, and then you are probably the only one that came out of that thing, and I've visited dozens of people in Martin County Jail. And you were one of the only ones. And you came out because you had truly hit the bottom. And sometimes you have to hit the bottom before you decide, this is no good. This is bad. I can do better. You know what? You will probably not do better until you look in the mirror and say to yourself, you can do better. You will probably not rise up and be a nice person and a good person and a helpful person until you look in the mirror and say, I don't have any excuses. I need to rise up. I need to be nice. I need to be appreciative. I need to be kind. You know what kindness is? You know what that is? It's acting nice when you don't feel like it. When you feel like, still acting nice. You know? Why are you so mean? I got a headache. Got a headache. You know, I feel so sorry for my beautiful bride, because she sits there and goes, do you hear yourself? Because when I get in a foul mood, you know, I don't punch walls anymore and walk around and scream and cuss, but I can just be like, yeah. She's got to be around that for a minute. I don't stay there long, thank God. I walked in here today, and Canaan will tell you, I was like, Dad, are you okay? I was under it. I worked for 2 days trying to get these screens to work. And I finally said, forget it. And I ran a new wire down that wall up here. It's the stupidest thing. Look, there it is. I did that. And Canaan comes in. Yeah, thank you. Canaan comes in and says, oh, have you tried this? And walks over here and pushes a button, and bang, they're up. And I remember, that was the beginning of the info. I thought, I wasted 2 days in the attic of this hot building trying to trace down. We get in moods that we can explain because things are so difficult for us. We're spoiled. Can you look in the mirror and say, you're spoiled? Can you say with me, we're spoiled? We're spoiled. We're spoiled. And you know what we need? We need Dad's belt. No, I'm serious. We need Dad's belt. I watched a music video the other day. Natalie and I met some wonderful people in Nashville. Rory and Joey Feek, and he was a songwriter. He wrote some very famous songs for some country musicians. You would know some of them, some of the biggest songs in the country, and he's a really good guy. And we got a chance to go to his house and have dinner. Nate was taking his daughter to the homecoming dance or whatever, and we got to talk with him. And I was watching a video of theirs the other day, and they were just talking about 2 things that changed their lives. One was the Bible, and the other one was the belt. Their dad's belt. Powerful. And the impression I got was Dad didn't scream and yell and cuss, but Dad put some pain on their backside to help motivate them to do the right thing. You know what we need. You know what you need. You need, Dad, you need pain. We need pain and suffering. I'm telling you, what will pull me out of selfishness? Real suffering. You get a call that one of your kids is suffering. You get a call that you have cancer that you didn't know you had. You get a call that everything that was a big deal is not a big deal anymore because now there's something that really is a big deal. I'm going to pick up next week on where I was going today. And it's the book of Ecclesiastes, and it's Solomon. It's King David's son who made something of himself because you know why? Because he listened to his dad. He listened to the wisdom of his father. He didn't listen to everybody else and said, your dad doesn't know jack. You're really going to listen to him? He listened to his dad. He listened to the male influence in his life that was godly. And he took that stuff and he applied it. And he honored God and feared God and worshiped God. And he lived his life trying to please God. And because of that, and I'm not going to go there today, but I'm telling you, the story is amazing that King David dies and Solomon is right there on the edge of taking over the entire kingdom of one of the greatest kingdoms that's ever been on the earth as far as God is concerned. And what he faced and what happened next. But I will say this to you today as I hope to bait you into coming next week and bringing somebody with you. Look in the mirror this week. Look at yourself. And listen, if you are super polite to everyone who talks to you, and you're really helpful to every time you can be, and you refuse to be disrespectful and unkind to anyone for any reason, and you work hard, and you do everything you know to do, then you can look in the mirror and say, what more can I do? How can I get better? How can I help somebody with all of this goodness? Because you're rare. But if you're like the rest of us, and you look in the mirror and you want to shake your head and say, just say to yourself, I will be better. And then you ask God, God, would you help me be better? You know, I'll say it today and I'll finish it next week. The main thrust of the book of Ecclesiastes, all that happened in his life was to get to the conclusion that God will make everything worthwhile. He'll put everything in perspective. He'll give you what you need to make your life work. But without him, you can do any and everything and still be empty and devoid of happiness. And listen to me, students and adults and everybody else listening online. The only thing standing in between you and being an incredible person that can help others is you. It is you. Nobody else can come in and remove the difficulty in your life. Nobody can come in and take your parents away, though you wish often that God would, or they would just go away and let you alone. Nobody can take the mean boss or the difficult job or the physical pain that you experience. Nobody can take that. Nobody can do that. But you know what? You can look in the mirror and say, I can be better. I will be better. And then you go get on your knees. That's where you're going to find how to be better. And open the Word of God and read, wow. This is how I should act because I'm not acting that way. This is how I should feel because I'm not feeling that way. I shouldn't let my life and my decisions and my actions be based on how I feel because I don't feel good a lot of the times. So today, I invite you now to, number one, apologize to God and purpose that you're going to apologize to other people that you need to apologize to. Some of you are going, all those things you mentioned, I don't do any of them. I know, but you're lazy. You don't do what you could do, and you know it. You have much greater potential than what you're tapping into. I sat with a couple a while back, and they're not in this building right now. But I've said this same thing to a couple of different people because it seems to be coming up as I close this message. They said, we're just not doing what we know there was a couple of married couples. We're just not doing what we know we should do. We're not, our kids aren't, we're not, it's just not. And I said to them, can I ask you a question? They said, what? I said, where do you get motivated to do good things and to be right with God? Where do you find, is there a place that you go? Do you go to a favorite restaurant where while you're there you're going, I think I could be better because I come here? Do you go to what do you watch happy movies? What is it in you that they said, well, it's when we come to church. We just feel it. We feel the presence of God. We feel the fellowship. We feel the messages are helpful. We just feel it there. And I said, how often do you go? And they started thinking, I said, can I tell you? Because I'm the pastor and I see. You come about 50% of the time. And I said, so you're going to the place where you find the presence of God and the fellowship of other people and the motivation and the learning to move forward, and you go 50% of the time, which is only 1 hour and a half swath a week, and you're wondering why you're having trouble moving forward? I wasn't quite that, because they might have walked away at that point, I was more gentle. And so you're having trouble moving forward? What should we do? I said, be there every time the door is open. I'm giving you my recipe. This is what I did. Every time the door was open, I was in that place. If I didn't feel like going, I went anyway, because it was the only place that I got saved. The only place that I got love that was unconditional. The only place that I got direction and God's presence was in a church. And I said this to the couple. And they said, well, that's something to think about. And I'll say it to you. You go find where God is moving, and it's going to be in a church somewhere. You may not like this, what I'm going to say. There's some really messy churches in this culture. There are. There's some really powerful movements of God, and it's happening in a church. And it may not be called a church. It may be called a group of people and meet in a home who love Jesus. But you go find where God is moving, and you invest your life there. And you will, I'm telling you, God will move things out of your path to bless you, because there's not very many of you around. A lot of people go and sit, but how many people will come and serve? So today, if you would, Kane is going to come up and just lead you in a song. And I would ask you today, here's the call to action I'm going to give you, okay? This next step to take. You make a commitment today. God, I'm going to serve you. You want to know how to do that? Find a place where God is moving. It may not be this church that you're lit up about, but go find a place where God is moving, where the people of God meet, and you serve and clean their commodes. Serve that thing. Don't be just a consumer. Be a servant. If you're faithful in those little things that you know to do, then God will entrust you with more things to do. Amen? Yes? Amen. You know that's true. So if you would, let's stand up. And I'm going to ask you now to make a prayer of commitment to God. You want to come get on your knees down here? I'm going to make a prayer of commitment. God, I'm going to change, and I'm going to serve, and I'm going to insist that I'm better, and I'm going to insist that I'm nicer, and I'm going to insist that I go serve some people that need serving. The next step for our church is we're going to develop in the next 20 days, we're going to develop a ministry that goes out and serves people that can't help themselves. That's the next step for this church. It's the only way we're going to get out into the world and see God move outside of these four walls. I invite you to be a part of that. Pray now. Commit your life to Him now. If you have a prayer need, come stand up here, and after a couple of minutes, somebody will come pray with you, okay? Let's sing a song.